Welcome to another edition of Inside NISD with, I'm Robbie Robertson, the Public Information Officer for the district, and we're here with Dr. Fred Hayes, Superintendent of Schools. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is the strategic planning of the district and kind of what's going on with that. Can you kind of explain what strategic planning is all about?
Sure. Well, first of all, we're excited that we're embarking upon the strategic plan. Strategic planning is really an idea that says, let's plan for several years down the road. Let's not plan for the day to day only and respond to things that are going on in the district. Let's plan for things that are 3, 4, 5 years down the road. So our strategic plan is really designed to take us through about 4 years of work in Nacogdoches ISD. We're excited that we have a couple of internal facilitators, Mason Moses and Ronnie Knox, who are leading that. And we're also excited that we're working with Dr. Jenny Preston and Ms. Sherry Sides, who are really our outside facilitators who are guiding us through the process. Our strategic plan started really in late August. We had a team of 8 training. It's our board and the superintendent, so the 7 board members and the superintendent. And they sat down and they came up with what our school board's objectives are, the goals and vision of our school district. And you know our vision. Right. Our vision is to educate and inspire everyone to achieve excellence.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, it is. So from that, we built those strategic objectives. From those strategic objectives, we built action plans. So there are 13 action plans within 13 actions within each objective. So
okay, well, tell us a little bit about the action plans and the objectives that we're going to get out of the strategic plan itself.
Sure. Well, the first one is what our core business is, and that's teaching and learning. So our first objective is really about teaching and learning. We also have an objective that deals with personnel and human resources, about how to retain those folks. Funding and finance is always something that's crucial to every district, so that's an objective. Facilities, taking a look at the facilities of Nacogdoches ISD is an objective. Parent community involvement and communications are the key objectives that we're looking for in this. And within that, each one of those strategic objectives, action plans are designed around those. There are 13 action plans, and most of them, as you can imagine, are very detailed with teaching and learning. There'll be some component in there on curriculum. There'll be some component in there on developing non-traditional learning environment opportunities, and then creating partnerships outside of the community to expand educational opportunities. So each one of those objectives has strategies that go in depth to them.
Okay.
And those are posted on Nacogdoches ISD's website.
Right,
the strategies.
exactly.
So
exactly.
I would encourage people to go and look at that.
Okay. Now, one of the things we did is we met last week at a downtown location, and we all got together. Some of that was made up of community members, correct?
Right.
Some of it was made up of teachers and principals.
Right.
As well as administrators. So kind of go into that process and kind of the way that worked last week.
Okay, that strategic planning team, the SPT they call it, is 30 members, 15 from the community and 15 from the school system. So what we did was we just went out and we looked for, took recommendations from our board on representatives from the community, and then we took representatives from the school system, put them all together, and they could develop those action plans or actions, those strategies based on those objectives.
Okay, now what we did is we divided up into small groups.
6 groups, right?
6 different groups, had 6 different action and objectives we had to come up with themes for, and I called them visions, but
you came up, what we were supposed to do and what we did do was come up with 2 strategies for each objective.
Exactly.
There was one strategy that required 3 objectives, or one objective that required 3 strategies, and that was the teaching and learning objective. So there are 13 strategies built around those 6 objectives.
Okay. Well, so what's the next step? We met those 2 days. Dr. Preston came and they kind of helped facilitate things. And then what goes beyond this?
The next thing that we will do is to establish action plan team leaders. And those people will come from our school district and the community. So each one of these actions or strategies that I talked about will have an action team leader. So there'll be 13 team leaders. Under each action or each strategy, which there are 13 strategies, there will be 10 people on each action team. So that's 130 additional people who they won't be, these 30 people that the SPT team will not be part of the action team. So now we're talking 160 people that are involved in the community.
That's a lot of people
That's
getting
a lot
involved.
of people. It's a lot of people. It's not near enough, but it is where we are.
And it kind of goes back to the fact that we need to get community involved in what's going on in NISD, correct?
The community needs to own NISD. This is their school system. This is not Fred Hayes' school system or Robbie Robertson's school system or Matt Rocco's school system. This is the community school system. They've got to own it.
So what are you hoping in the long term to accomplish? I know one of them is community involvement, very, very much. I know you're big on that. And so what are a couple of the other objectives you want to happen, say 1 to 2 years down the road from this strategic planning?
Robbie, we need to be an academically high-performing school district. We need to be looked at in East Texas and in Texas as and Nacogdoches ISD performs very well academically for all of its students, not just for a select few, and that we have programs that are designed for all of our students that stretch them academically. So that is, of course, is the key thing. And then we want to make sure, of course, that our facilities are in good shape. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We're not talking the bad B word yet, Bond, but we're talking about things that really need to be done right now. And we have enough money in reserve that we can do a lot of these things, and a lot of people see some good work going on. But that's what we need the community involved in, the community owned is, all right, what do you want to see done in these schools?
I know there's been a lot of talk around about curriculum, about facilities, and you made some recent changes in those areas. What are some areas you think that are going to impact students immediately, say within the next 6 months?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked that. Within the next 6 months, they'll really see some changes that are going on with the rewrite of the curriculum, with those assessments that we've built in that will monitor how we're doing in our curriculum. So that's going to be an immediate change, and I believe it's going to impact every student in this district, every teacher in this district. Next year, as we proceed with that, I think that one of the exciting things that I think will happen next year is we're going to be looking at least one elementary magnet school.
Wow.
We have one of our campuses that I'm meeting with this week that really is excited about performing arts, visual performing arts magnet approach that we were looking at. We went up to Tyler a couple of times and visited that campus, Caldwell campus, and one of our campuses is extremely excited about that. Another magnet that we're looking at is the technology magnet school, and so I think those are things that are going to really impact Nacogdoches ISD and put us on the next level.
Well, I think there are a lot of good things coming up for Nacogdoches. I know not only strategic planning, but I know there's some technology upgrades that we're going to be doing. Speak a little bit about that and how you see that impacting students.
Sure. I'm glad you asked that too. Is that next year we're really working with our new technology director, Leslie Garicani, with our board to go to a one-to-one laptop approach where each student has a laptop. And next year we're looking at 8th and 9th grade.
Wow.
And we're also looking at one of our campuses that has some federal money because of some issues that they faced that is going to be doing it with their 4th and 5th grade. So every student in the 8th and 9th grade, we're going to put a laptop in their hands next year.
Oh,
and
my
that's
goodness.
a commitment. That's a commitment that I make, and I think that we're going to do it. I know we're going to do it. And then one of our elementary campuses in 4th and 5th grade will have that. So it's going to stretch us on technology infrastructure, but we're going to get there, and that's a huge impact it'll make on kids.
That's incredible. I know just briefly we have just a little bit of time left. Talk a little bit about what you see facility-wise as some changes that are going to occur within the next 6 months.
Sure. And that's really something I hope that comes out of this strategic planning is what people want our facilities to look like. Now, what I expect and will accept nothing less than is excellence. We're going to make sure that our buildings are painted. We're going to make sure that there's not grass growing up in the sidewalks.
Right.
We're going to make sure that there aren't trees growing up to where our vision is obscured. Those things that we can do cosmetically that make a huge difference, we're going to make sure that that's not an issue for the children of Nacogdoches ISD and the community. When businesses come to our district, we want them to look and say, wow.
That's good. There's a lot of great things happening here at Nacogdoches ISD. I'm glad to be a part of it. And so that's all for now with Dr. Hayes, and we'll be back with you here in just a little bit.